Nowadays, it's pretty easy to dump all over Sonic the Hedgehog, and with good reason. Sega hasn't been able to consistently release good games in the series in well over a decade, to the point where its poor critical success created a meme. They also seem to not really care about the situation, constantly giving developers unrealistic demands and deadlines, all for a rabid fan base that eats up every release. So now, at this point, releases like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations are seen as rare oddities rather than flickers of hope that the series has returned to form, especially after the 1-2 punch combo that was the Sonic Boom games in 2014. So when Sega announced the sequel to Shattered Crystal, the response was pretty lukewarm, even for me, and I thought that game was okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now that it's about the same with Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, maybe a little better. In this game, the third in the series, since Sega is so insistent on refusing to number these things, Sonic and his friends are in the middle of placing markers around the world to investigate strange weather phenomena that appear to be threatening it. When Amy places one, a fissure opens up, imparting strange elemental powers upon her and Sonic that manifest through their communicators. The two decide that their new fire and ice powers will be a great help in closing the fissures, and they make haste to get it done. Naturally, Dr. Eggman is the source of the entire problem, and the crew's ultimate goal is stopping whatever he's doing. I say whatever he's doing because it's not really explained well, at least until the end, and his operation is so plain that there's no point really leaving that out. The dialogue between the characters implies there are world-ending consequences for the emerging fissures, but because you don't get to see any, it comes off as rather unconvincing. Not only that, but the overall narrative comes off as nothing more than a stretched out episode of the TV series with only slightly higher stakes. The comedy is exactly what you would expect, with every character tossing out lines that would elicit chuckles now and then. You can skip it if it's not for you, and I can see a lot of people doing that. Fire and Ice appears to use a refined version of the engine used in the previous game, and is thusly a 2.5D action platformer that places a great emphasis on speed and exploration. You play as Sonic, Tails, Sticks, Knuckles, and Amy, who was relegated to the distressed damsel role in the previous game, through a decent number of stages as they attempt to close every fissure throughout the archipelago. Regardless of the character used, movement control is generally improved compared to Shattered Crystal. The controls are a bit tighter, and homing attacks can be performed faster, leading to faster game flow. The most improved character is Sonic, as his air dash allows him to now maintain or regain momentum, and he can use it more than once in the left and right directions. Each character has a special move that can be used to either attack or explore each level. Sonic can use the aforementioned air dash, Amy smashes pillars that act as roadblocks, Knuckles can burrow underground in designated areas, and Sticks' boomerang can be used to hit faraway switches and grab collectibles at a distance. Tails can not only be boosted by fans placed in certain levels, but he also carries a laser rifle that can destroy certain metal blocks that obstruct your path. Each character gets a couple of stages early on in the game that focus on these abilities, but the need to switch characters lessens as the game progresses, and you will eventually settle on your favorite character and stick with them, usually Sonic or Knuckles, as they are the two most well-rounded characters. The game makes an admirable attempt to maintain character relevance throughout by placing many of the collectible items in areas unreachable by Sonic, but the fact that those items don't bar your progression, like the last game, makes this moot. The game isn't simply racing through labyrinthine stages, however. Each level contains a set number of collectibles that, when turned in, will net you different rewards. For instance, springs you find help Sticks with her projects, trading cards unlock bot racetracks when given to Knuckles, hammer pieces unlock better hammers for Amy, and Ragnium crystals, collected by defeating enemies and through other methods, unlock various items at Sonic's shack. Many of the trading cards are found in challenge rooms, which are typically simple platforming tests, of which there are one in each level. Others can be found using Tails' Sea Fox and Hovercraft in races against time to collect them. The tunnels from Shattered Crystal return, once again acting as an impressive showcase of Sonic's speed, and are incredibly fun, even if the lack of checkpoints make restarting them after a hit a bit irritating. Finally, bot races have Sonic compete against an Eggman bot as a part of a petty scheme to make Sonic the town laughingstock. They serve as a callback to the multiplayer races from Sonic 3, and also function as the multiplayer component in this game. They range from really easy to moderately difficult, and are an adequate distraction. Multiplayer is local only, and limited to people who each own copies of the game, which is a shame, because this could have been a way to share one of the more fun aspects of the game with newcomers. The presentation of Fire and Ice is okay, actually. Graphics look about the same as the first game, with characters looking dull, though the environments are brighter by comparison, and the camera is thankfully zoomed out this time so you can see where you're going. The voice actors from the show reprise their roles in the game, and they all sound great. Roger Craig Smith is one of my favorite voice actors, and his Sonic voice is, honestly, my favorite, and I grew up with Juice and Jam Jaleel White in that role. The music is okay actually, with a lot of up-tempo tracks and some nice orchestrated tunes, though it can get drowned out with all the incidental grunts, hoops, and hollers. Sonic Boom Fire and Ice is an actual good game, with a great focus on, and sense of, speed, and less of the exploration for the sake of it that Sonic fans seem to dislike, though it's still there if you want it. It's more of a mission-packed sequel than anything though, and its iterative nature means that people that didn't like the first game will probably steer clear of this game out of dislike for the Boom subseries despite its merits. It does lack challenge and looks a bit muddy, but it's definitely worth a purchase when the price drops. I do like the Boom series, mostly because of the cartoon, so I hope Sega continues to make Boost-style games with those characters, only with a more fleshed out story in an episodic format, better gameplay with more varied moves for the characters, especially Styx. And maybe an appearance from Shadow?